Hello everybody, thank you for joining us. Today we'll be doing a quick sketch of a tree, and we will just try to go with the angle that we're going to put in some shading to reflect on this plain surface. So to begin, we'll use very light strokes. I'm going to grab a lighter pencil. So trees traditionally or necessarily do not have any particular shape, but there is a particular nature to them, and we're going to try to stick to those basics. So there are scraggly and straighter lines when it comes to the branches. Now for the exercise that we are going through, I would recommend using minimal branches, and we're not going to put in any leaves yet, but we will just try that on one section of our tree here. So I've just put in, so that is the idea. So you might have noticed that I haven't gone straight like this anywhere. I'm just going like this in pieces. So pieces, and let's put in another branch right about there. Okay, and that is one part completed. Now I'm imagining a light source that is coming from, let's say, this side, and casting a shade on that end. So we're going to use a slightly thicker pencil and just put in, right now I'm not going deep into the texture of the tree because I wish to go about this very quickly. It is a sketch, and when it comes to a sketch, we try to allot time accordingly. So a shadow falling, a more intense shadow falling right there because of that branch onto this one, shadow within that branch itself because the light is traveling in that similar aspect. So there we have it, shadow falling at the farthest part from the light all through the tree. We are keeping it as consistent as we can and trying to flow and merge the tones as we move along. Trees are essentially cylindrical, of course, but they're with a multitude of angles and curves and straight lines, but dominantly cylindrical. So we're following that rule and putting in the tones right there, and similarly the branches and all its aspects are reflective of the nature of the rest of the tree. This part is away from the light, so we do a bit of that, a bit of this, and there we have it. Now, one way of also incorporating some additional details, you could Google this and you can check it out, that trees, when it comes to wood, have they have a pattern flowing like right through. Now, since this is essentially a magnified version, I'm not going to go too much into it, but if you wish to do a bit of it, of texturing, and you could Google certain images. I mean, some trees have different structures also, circular, some have like straighter wooden flowing structure, so you'll have to pick and choose which one you would like to go with. Perhaps for the sake of art you could use both, and then within those lines you're going to keep the shadows flowing. It'll just make the whole illustration a lot more richer as you go along. You can have some shading on this end, so I'm just putting in some random shading. I will use a flat tip for this just to speed it up, just to put in some gray, light gray right around the tree to highlight certain aspects that I do not otherwise wish to color in. Or you could put in very small tones, very slight tones, if you wish to use crosshatch right across, but that is not an essential thing tonight. And we are going to just smudge that a little bit so that it does not get too much in the way. So we just cast an atmosphere around the tree. I'm going to smudge that in as well a little bit. Okay, now on to the other part. So we are imagining that, now if I were to show this from the ground up a little bit, I would have had rounded edges here, and I would have shown a little bit of the tree like so. So we are going to do that for the purpose of today's exercise, because we're putting in a shadow right after this. So the light was coming from that side, the shadow is falling on this side, and we will try to, again, depends on the intensity of the light, the position of the sun, or any other light source for that matter, of how far you're going to go and cast this shadow. But you have to try to maintain that the shape. So we are just going one branch at a time. So I'm working from this way, and I'm trying to maintain this in as flat a manner as I can. And again, let's remind ourselves that we are working with a sketch here and not necessarily trying to have some fine art on the thing going. So a minimal effort will go farther, and then practice will make things better as we move along. So more intense here, and then not fade out but consistent all through, and we have ourselves sort of a shadow on the ground. And that is, of course, imagining a little bit the view from a little bit from the top, with the ground like flowing like right in the back. Let's say that it's just our work area is a board. Right there. So and we have a tree with a shadow. Okay, so this quick routine. Thank you very much for watching. Please do subscribe and keep in touch. Have yourself a wonderful day.